What is going on, guys? This is Daniel here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about loops. I had a lot of problems with looping and I want to share those with you. But before I do that, I want to just explain what loops are, and then I'm going to give you an example of how you can use loops. And afterwards, I'm going to explain the pitfalls and the problems that I experience so that you don't have to. A lot of famous people are talking about looping. So Peter Steinberg said that you shouldn't be prompting your agents anymore. You should be designing loops. Boris Cherny said, I don't prompt Claude anymore. My job is to write loops. And I just want to explain very briefly about what a loop actually is. So the way that most people work with agents right now is that we are over here and we create a prompt like build this website, fix this bug, whatever it is. And then our agent goes and he does the job. He's going to get some kind of result, and then we're going to observe and check the results. And then after that, we're going to decide, okay, is it good enough? Is it not? Is there something that needs tweaking? And then we're going to re-prompt him. And that re-prompting is going to cause him to go and refine his work. So what looping is trying to solve is to say, how do we swap ourselves out of this cycle? How can we build a system that can automatically do this so that we don't have to be involved? In order to make this work, we need to have a very specific idea about what done looks like. If we don't know what done looks like, then we can't really design a loop because we'll never know when something is finished or not. So the way that this is done is that when we get a result, if we know what done looks like, we can actually have another agent that goes and critiques the current work against what we perceive the done state to look like. And what he's going to do is he's going to write some feedback. So he's going to say, okay, is this actually finished or is it not finished? And if it's not finished, then he's going to write a file. And that file is going to tell us why it's not done. What were the problems that were involved that means that this job hasn't been completed yet? What we can then do is we can take that feedback and we can feed it back into the original prompt. Or we can even tweak the prompt if we like. But the main point is that we get the feedback, we get a new prompt, and then we shove that back into the agent so that the agent knows, okay, the first time I did this, we got this result, but now we have the feedback about what didn't quite go well, feed it back into the building agent, and then the building agent can continue the work that we need done in order for the job to be finished. And then if you do that correctly, then you get this cycle where you're not part of the loop anymore, right? We have the agent that builds, he creates a result. Then we have another agent that can be the critic, that can define what done looks like. He's going to create a feedback file, and then that feedback is going to get fed back into the agent, which is then going to produce another result that is going to be ideally closer to the result that we want, that we've defined. And this is going to go on and on and on and on until we've decided that the job is done. And that is a loop. So should you use loops? If you have a metric that you have to measure, or you know that you can measure, for example, like the load speed of a website, or whether or not you're getting a higher click-through rate on your conversion on your landing page, something like that, which is a clearly defined goal, a loop can work really well. But if you are trying to create a loop where it's kind of subjective, where the end state could just be something like, I want this page to look nicer, or even if you're designing some kind of spec for your app, right? Should you loop all the way through the app to get to some result? I've tried this and it is super duper hard. Because no matter how you define something, the agent's always going to find these little edge cases. He's going to make a lot of assumptions, and the end result can basically result in something completely different to what you thought it would. And you're going to look back and you're going to be like, oh my God, there's a lot of problems here, right? And is that better than you just being in the loop and crafting and refining it as you go? I don't know. I'm not sure about that. And the second thing is that this is going to absolutely smash your tokens. You using loops is going to use, okay, just put it this way. I maxed out my Claude plan and my ChatGPT plan using loops many times, okay? So it is going to consume a ton of tokens. You have to be, this is one thing that they don't tell you. These guys, Peter Steinberg spent $1.3 million on tokens per month. And Boris Cherny, who works at Anthropic, he doesn't have to worry about how many tokens he spent. Unless you have this huge budget you're going to be spending a lot of money, and you really need to determine whether that's worth it or not. What I have here is a website that we're creating for a boutique resort. And as you can see, the load times are incredibly slow. So I have throttled the internet to 4G. And when we scroll, you can see like a lot of the images aren't loading. Everything is just taking a long time. This is really bad for if you're trying to promote a website, especially a visual one like this, like a visual product. So what we're going to do is we're going to use looping in order to improve this website. The way we're going to do this is we're going to have a building agent, and the building agent is going to be improving the landing page speed. Then we're going to have a critic who is going to go and use Playwright as well as Lighthouse to try to measure how long it takes this website to load. He's going to produce some feedback, and then afterwards that feedback is going to get fed back into the builder. To run this loop, we've got a Python script over here, and inside this script, we've got a builder that we're going to be running. So this is going to call OpenCode, and then OpenCode is going to take the repository that we have with the website, and he's also going to take the feedback from the results. And the actual run function is just down here. So this is going to iterate. It's going to run the builder, then it's going to measure, then he's going to calculate the metrics. Once we achieve the speed time that we want from the results, then it's going to just stop the loop and cut it. And that's going to be the end of it. So to run the loop, all I need to do is start the Python function. So I'm just going to do that now. So for the metrics that we're defining as done here, we're using largest contentful paint. And that is this target over here, which is under 2 seconds. So what that means is that when we hit the landing page, we want the image and the video that's showing in the background to load within 2 seconds. And then fully loaded means that the entire web page, all the images, everything should pop up within 6 seconds. For this test, we're going to be using GPT 5.4 mini. You can use whatever model you want in OpenCode to run this kind of experiment. So our loop has finally finished, and he did 3 iterations. The first one we measured and the time was really bad, so 216 seconds, and LCP was 76 seconds. On the second attempt, he got the fully loaded time really, really low, 4.6 seconds, so that passed, but the LCP time was still above 2 seconds. Then the third time, still above it at 2.5 seconds. So then he kept iterating, improving, and then he got it down to 1.4 seconds. So let's see what it looks like. So this is the website that he has optimized. If we scroll down really, really fast, we can see everything loads really, really quickly. In terms of quality, let's compare it to the original over here. And image-wise, like especially with these thumbnail ones, it looks quite good. Like I can't really tell the difference at all. But what I can tell the difference with is the hero image. So if we have a look at this one, this is the one that he optimized. And if we go here, you can see that this image is a lot more crisp and this one is a lot more blurry. And that is just one result of looping, is that when we defined what done looks like, all we did was we defined it as the time it takes for the page to load. And because of that, he didn't take into consideration the quality of the image because we didn't specify that. We just said, hey, we need a fast load time, and he made it happen. And so now we have a different problem, which is that we need to have a more crisp image that loads. So this is one of those things. It's like when you're creating loops can be very tricky to design to get right, because the agents could optimize for the situation that you specify, but it might not be the actual one that you want, which makes loop design very, very challenging. Because of that, I think that it's not for every situation. I think it's still very experimental. It's very difficult to actually design loops that can do a really good job for you. So that is my verdict on loops. I hope that has been helpful for you in deciding whether or not you should use them, as well as understanding them. If you have any questions or you need any help, there's going to be a link in the description where you can book a call with me and we can have a chat. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.